moving from one hellscape of Los Angeles to another hellscape of New York City. Apparently, as New York City's migrant spending has topped a whopping $10 billion.
See, they are, Mondami and Hochul, they are billionaires.
Yeah.
They're handing out
billions
I
of
mean,
dollars.
look, you can go Elon Musk is a billionaire, but if you say this guy's in charge of handing out billions, in a way he's more powerful than the dude who's not going to hand out his own money.
It's easier to give away someone else's money.
Tim Walz is a billionaire. He just hands out our billions.
Yep. So Mamdani's doing the same, but he's saying, alas, that's not enough. He needs another $1.2 billion. And get this, on top of that, he's saying that New York City's property taxes are probably going to have to raise if the state of Soph Hochul there won't tax the millionaires within the state to fund his programs like this.
Do these people understand what year it is and how flexible people are with moving? Because
it's easier now than ever before, I think.
Moving, if you go back 200 years, you get to the Donner Party, and moving was quite difficult and dangerous.
Yep.
But they still did it.
Yep.
But it was hard. And thus, whatever percentage of people, I would argue that 150 years ago in this country, 82% of the populace died in the town they were born in.
Yes.
If you go back 150 years.
Yes.
Those days are gone.
I would even say like 70 years ago. Like you had a lot of people post World War II, post Vietnam, where they go home, they get a job, they build a business.
Right. And if you go around this building and you ask everyone where they're from, it'll all be somewhere else. Even maybe the closest is like a Dawson, but he's a Bay Area up north guy. He's not here. And people are so mobile now. And it's U-Haul, it's technology, it's the automobile, it's the interstate system, it's work from home, it's Southwest, $89 flights. I mean, people are just mobile as hell. It's like luggage used to be a steamer trunk and you'd have to get porters to carry it onto a boat with you. Now everything's got wheels, baby.
People used to dress fancy when they travel.
People just leave, getting off the point. People just leave. So what Mondami doesn't understand, that it's the same thing they did here with production in Los Angeles. Like, we're going to just make it the permitting process a little more unionized. And it's like someone should have said to these guys 20 years ago, people are just going to leave. The productions are going to leave. No, they live here. They like shooting in LA. They love LA. They have their homes in Beverly Hills. They're going to fucking leave. They're going to Canada. They're going to Prague. They're going to New Mexico. They will leave.
Yep.
Once you get the most progressive people in the world who are constantly talking about taxing the rich to leave to save a couple of dollars on taxes for production, now everyone can leave.
What's kind of funny, too, is they did it to themselves, not just in all the ways that you said, but also in the work from home thing is a huge thing.
Right.
When so many jobs can be done remote, or you only have to go, and they created the pandemic.
Yeah,
and the pressure of the pandemic of nope, can't open schools, can't work in an office, must continue working from home. And now that's so seeped into the culture.
Yes.
That makes it even easier for people to leave horrible progressive policies.
The other thing that the politicians don't get is the millionaires and the billionaires are smarter than they are because they work in the private sector and they had to do something. You fucking dumb shits never did anything. So that's number one. They're smarter than you are. They count on this thing. And they count on this thing where it's like, hey, man, if you have billions of dollars, you can afford to pay another couple of percentage points on it. Yes, you can afford. They act like you're going out to a steakhouse and the billionaire's going, well, I'll get the strip steak, but I don't know if I can afford the prime. And it's like, yeah, no, he'll buy the prime. He'll buy a Rolls Royce. He'll do that. What he's not going to do is waste money. He's not going to give it to you so you can squander it on a bunch of illegals or homeless bullshit. That's the thing. You don't get it. They do a thing where they go, you're already a billionaire. What is a couple little extra dollars or it's like, that's not the point.
Yep.
They're not in the business of wasting money on your shitty
They want to invest
protocols.
in something.
Yeah. They're going to leave.
Yep.
And then you sit around and go, I don't get it. Why are you leaving? You could just stay here and pay a little bit more.
They're like,
it's a bad investment.
Yep.
Giving you more money to fucking waste is not a good investment for guys who make good investments, and that's why they're billionaires because they make good investments. You are a shit investment. Gavin Newsom, you spent $24 billion on homeless people. You've not put anyone inside a home or built a home. You then spent $20 billion on a bullet train, and it's going nowhere, and it's 19 years in, and it's not going to be. So you are a shit investment. So I'm not going to invest in you because I'm a smart and savvy investor, and that's why I'm a billionaire.
And for some of the people, too, the employees will follow.
Oh, for sure.
Right?
Oh, yeah.
So Hochul, I think, is totally running for president. You think she's going to run for president? Part of the reason.
She is such a fucking dope. Look, maybe I sound like an asshole or a broken record, but I've said it a million times. You can go Jim Jordan or Tom Cotton or any of these people, any Marco Rubio, J.D. Vance. Okay. You disagree with everything they say. They're not fucking dopes.
Yeah.
She's a dope. She talks, you go, I don't know what the fuck she's talking about.
I think she's slightly better than Whitmer.
Whitmer's a dope, too.
Whitmer is so bad. Did you see her performance at the European Summit?
I don't know anything about stuff. These guys
literally
know
asked about
more.
Ukraine and was like,
I
did
don't
not
know.
have an answer.
I don't know. We're going fishing. You guys stay home.
But I think that Hochul is planning on running because she's kind of moderating in certain ways.
She's gonna get that. If you find that clip of like black people don't know what a computer is from 3 years ago or whatever.
She said that?
Oh, there's a great clip. It's not even old. It's not even old. That is going to be drudged up and thrown in her face over and over again, the Hochul.
Well, I mean, also
computer.
her support of Mamdani is going to be thrown in her face. So I think she's trying to moderate because she's seeking re-election. And she says that one of the things that she's done, so she has Mamdani saying, hey, I need more money from you. We need to increase the property tax and income tax in New York City. And Hochul is saying, no, I'm not going to do that. She's completely ruled out income tax raises and said that the state would contribute $1.5 billion to help reduce New York City's budget deficit. Is that common? I should know this. But like, is that common for a state? Like, does Texas say, hey, Austin, to reduce your budget deficit, here's like some money from our state budget?
I don't know. I'm not sure. I makes sense, but I'm not sure.
Right.
What year is this from? It's recent.
Was this the same global conference? This was only 2 years ago?
2 years ago.
Like a year and a half?
Oh, 2 years ago. 2 years ago.
Young black kids growing up in the Bronx who don't even know what the word a computer is. They don't know. They don't know these things. And I want the world to open up to all of them because when you have their...
Right. One more time, just for fun. 2 years ago.
Young black kids growing up in the Bronx who don't even know what the word a computer is. They don't know. They don't know these things.
By the way, that is so
in 2024?
insulting. That is so insulting.
It's racist.
First off, the number one group who steals computers are black kids from the Bronx. I mean, you see the smash and grab at the Best Buy? They're
Somehow
all
that
about
was
the
less
computer.
insulting than what she. Somehow that was less insulting.
Well, mine's accurate. Mine at least is accurate. Hers bullshit. Nobody steals more laptops than black kids. Okay, so this is so racist and so insulting to this podcaster. It makes me want to puke. It really does.
I mean, the iPad came out in 2012. The iPhone has been around since like 2008, 2009. Computers have been around for a really long time. There's no
demographic uses other people's computers they've stolen more than the young black man.
Dawson's going to pass out.
He loves a good racist joke. Yes. Okay, so this is super insulting.
Yes.
2 years old.
I wonder if there's ever going to reach a point, because she did support him so much, like Hochul was supporting Mamdani, if she's going to like call him up and be like, bro, hold up.
Right.
Just pause. Could we just figure some stuff out? You're making Democrats look bad, and I really want to run for office in a couple of years.
It'd be nice.
It'd be nice.
Hey, look something up that just popped in my head, Dawson. Sam Harris, I think he was from KTLA.
Oh, he has a podcast. He's had a podcast for a while, right?
Wait a minute. Who's Sam Harris from KTLA entertainment reporter? Or is that Sam Smith?
Sam Smith is a gay singer.
That's
likes
the
to
gay
dress
singer.
in
Then
drag.
Sam Harris was the KTLA guy, right?
Oh,
Sam Rubin. God damn it.
Wait, didn't he die?
He did. It's coming up. I just did KTLA. That's why I just saw his picture up there. Coming up on 2 years. Anyway, good dude. I don't know, part of the landscape out here. I went and did KTLA this morning, and I walked into the lounge, and it was like the Sam Rubin lounge. And that's what
That's nice that they did that for him.
Yeah, he was a good dude. He was there for a million years. All right.
It's also too young. Way too young.
Way too young. All right, what else?
All right, not talking about a good dude. Stephen Colbert, have you heard about this legal back and forth of he's like, they wouldn't let me. And then the legal department is like, actually, yes, we would let you. And then now he's trying to make it all about him. I think he's actively trying to get fired.
You know what drives me nuts? Anyone who makes themselves a victim. Mm-hmm. It drives me nuts. Mm-hmm. When, like, Gavin Newsom was doing that thing with Ted Cruz, I'm dyslexic. You made fun of it. Oh, shut the fuck up. No, there was a guy who was in Burbank who shut down Tin Horn Flats, one of the Burbank City Council guys. His argument was he was retarded, basically. I mean, he had a disability, even though he slept in his car. And it was funny, me and Mark Garagos were like, hey, retard, don't fucking run the city then. Obviously, you're retarded. You don't know what you're doing. But they do it. The argument with dudes is I have a disability. It's like, okay. But by the way, and Joe Biden had a stutter. Like, what the fuck are we talking? I've never heard. Okay. Anyway.
So Colbert wanted to interview a guy named Tallarico who is running against Jasmine Crockett and one other lesser known Democrat for the U.S. Senate race in Texas, right? Mm-hmm. And the FCC actually has rules that specifically during a primary for a talk show like that, that you have to give equal time.
Right.
Now, as a hardcore conservative, I think the FCC rules on equal time are BS because way back in the day, there used to be like, that was really hardcore. And I remember when I worked at Hannity, you can't just like invite the other person to come on. Like you actually had to like give them equal time or the Clinton, the Obama administrations would like screw you. Because
if they declined on the invite, then it's not equal time.
Yes. Okay. And then they were really hammering it down. I don't know what the Trump FCC has decided to do, but they have apparently said they're agreeing with CBS and CBS is refuting Colbert's assertion that he was not allowed to have James Tallarico on. They just said that the CBS legal department said, hold up, if you're going to interview this guy, then you also have to give time to and promote as much these other candidates, specifically because they're within a party primary.
Yes.
But he, I guess, and his producers decided to just blatantly lie about it and get out in front of it.
Well, he's a victim.
This was, from his show.
What's he lying about?
Well, so he's saying that CBS said in no uncertain terms that he could not have the guy on. And CBS Legal has now responded and said, no, actually, we told you could. You just had to because of this regulation.
On. Yes. He's arguing that this regulation doesn't apply to him.
And he's saying that it shouldn't apply to him. And of course, he has to like make Trump and his administration the boogeyman.
Yeah.
And then also like NPR. MS Now, was that what they're called now? I keep wanting to say MSNBC.
I don't.
And liberal activists are all saying, oh my God, it's Bari Weiss and she's changing CBS News.
Oh, it's Bari Weiss.
Yes, that's what they're trying to say.
I like Bari.
It's all her fault. Me too.
Good person.
So he was able to, I guess another way that he circumvented it is he posted it on the YouTube channel. Which, of course, this is like free publicity for that, right? Like everybody's going to go over there and watch it on the YouTube channel. Yeah. Anyway, and he is saying, I don't know. I think he's hankering to get fired and continue to be a victim and just make a shit ton of money on being a victim.
Yeah, I mean, Hollywood is a lot of fantasy, virtue signaling. It's a lot of sort of comic book hero stuff, but everyone's a coward and all the guys are pussies. I've found in Hollywood, but they do a lot of talk stuff, and then they do a kind of talk and a victim. And Hollywood does a thing where it's like, you get up in front of a group of people who think exactly how you think and sound exactly how you sound, and then you tell them something they wholeheartedly agree with and then go, I know they try to shut me up, and I know I'm risking my job, and I know I may be risking my life, but I'm going to say it. Fuck Trump. And then everyone goes nuts, you know, and it's like, that's not what a hero is, because everyone agrees with you. And even though you're calling Trump a dictator and Hitlerian, nothing's ever going to happen to you, and you know it. So you get to...
That's why Mark Ruffalo can talk about it while wearing his Renee Good pin and ice out stuff.
Right.
Fascism
So
on the red carpet.
it's sort of a thing where, so what Hollywood does is, like, Hollywood looks out the window at night and sees a shady character lurking around, and they're pussies, and they would never leave and go confront the shady character. But if the shady character was an avatar made up and invisible and they knew would never do anything to them, then they would proudly announce, I'm going out to investigate. And then their wife would go, should we call the cops? And I'd go, no time for backup. And I'd storm out. And I'd go, because it's my job to protect this family. And then I'd go out there and I'd go, hey, Stu, how you doing? You're not going to do anything. You're armed with a feather duster. Thank you. And he'd give me $20, and I'd go back in the house. They know they're brave acting like they do in the movies. They would never do it in real life.
Of course
they
not.
would never, if they thought Trump was a real dictator and a real tyrannical dictator and Hitlerian or Mussolini-esque, they would shut their cowardly fucking mouth immediately. If they thought...
And flee the country.
Oh, yeah. If they thought this was China, I mean, it's why...
Cuba, Venezuela.
Right. Okay. They got big problems with Israel. They got big problems with Catholics. They got no problem with Islam. Wait a minute. Hold on. You guys love women, and you love freedom, and you love rights, and you hate oppression, right? But you're going to storm into Catholic churches, and you're going to talk tons of shit about the Jews and Israel, but you got nothing to say about the group that actually does all the oppressing and subjugates women and treats women horribly and throws gay... Oh, you love gay rights, right? You love gay rights? Yeah, these guys throw gay guys off top of buildings in a burlap sack. You have anything to say about them? No, I don't. It's a beautiful, peaceful religion. Why? Well, they cut your fucking head off. They go Charlie Hebdo on you. They fucking walk into your fucking shit and they start slaughtering people. And you're pussies and you don't want to deal with that. But you do want to be a hero. So go to the place where they don't do anything and they don't slaughter you, and then go be a hero there. Don Lemon, go there. Don't go to the mosque and start fucking around. Someone's going to get you with a machete, and you fucking know it. But yet, you claim to be a champion of gay rights and women's rights. So that's what you're dealing with,
You also
with
claim
Hollywood.
to be a Christian.
Yes, a lot of, I'm the hero, even though I never did shit.
Yep.
That's what you have to deal with.
I mean, but it pays well. The grift pays.
It says on my screen the equal time was for the Democratic primary. So the person not getting equal time was Tellerico's opponent, Jasmine Crockett, because Colbert probably doesn't think she can win.
Yeah. I mean, he's clearly trying to prop up the guy that is pulling ahead. And then, like I said, there was a lesser known candidate. So there's 3 Democratic candidates. So he'd have to give a segment, a high value segment, right? I mean, even though Colbert's ratings are crap, like, people still want to go on the Colbert Show. Like, celebrities and comedians and politicians and stuff are still probably going to take that call. So he'd have to give 3 segments on 3 different nights to a U.S. Senate candidate from Texas. That's crazy.
Yeah. All right. What else we got?
We have this horrific story. This comes from the New York Post, but it's been everywhere recently, of that trans shooter who people are saying, quote unquote, was an odd bird who wore dresses and heels to work at a shipyard.
Listen, I was hearkening back to something I said to Dr. Drew a million years ago when this stuff started popping up. And it was circa 1996, let's say. And the rule back then was, if you would like to be, there was pre-op and post-op, and we had cross-dressers, and we had transvestites, and we had all kinds of different titles, so we knew
Drag queens.
which group you were in.
Yep.
You know, now we've just, it's like the trans community or something, but I don't even know what the fuck. I go, it's got his dick? Is it cut off? Like, what? Are they a woman? By the way, I need to know because there's a difference between sharing the locker room pre and post operation for me. I want some details.
Yeah.
I don't want you going into the locker room with your male junk.
Into your daughter's locker room.
Sorry.
Or your girlfriend.
All right,
Yeah.
let's just say yours.
Yeah. Right.
Any woman.
No. No bueno.
If you had your junk lopped off, I look at it differently. Now it's a different situation. And others don't, and we can debate it. But what I'm saying is I like to know what category you're in to figure out where to let you go and how much locker room access and so on and so forth. But anyway,
but
back when in 1996, the rule, and I don't even know if there's a rule anymore, but before you got surgery to have your genitals removed or altered, you had to meet with a therapist for a year. And they had to, at the end of that year, go, okay, this person this is not a rash decision made. This is not an impulse buy.
even before the hormones, because I think that's a part of like what the lawsuits are now.
That's
is that
a very good question.
They'll start young people on hormones.
That's a very
like
good
after
question.
one 30-minute visit.
People, and maybe the hormone therapy, this is 30 years ago, so
Wasn't as
it
advanced as it is now or common.
I mean, I'm sure in 30 years by the way, this went from almost zero to half the kids my kids went to high school with are fucking around with this stuff. But anyway, but here's the whole point. I said, well, go back. Okay, this says you don't generally need to meet with a therapist for over a year to begin gender. But what was it like literally 30 years ago? But here's the whole point. I said to Dr. Drew in 1996, and you guys can find tape of it, if you are meeting with a therapist and announcing that I'm a man, but there's a woman trapped inside of me, you're by definition nuts. That's the definition of nuts. You thinking you're Napoleon is less nuts than that. So when are you ever going to be declared sane? Because the whole motivation for seeing the therapist is you are nuts. And I'm now starting to believe this. We sold this bullshit to everybody that this is some sort of disease or something. I'm now realizing most of them are just fucking nuts. Yes, during the 1990s, it was standard practice to meet with a therapist for at least a year and often much longer to obtain a sex change, gender reassignment surgery. According to the 1990 Harry Benjamin Standard of Care, which guided most medical gender care at the time, the requirements were strict and included mental health. But so the whole point, like how many 14, 15, 16-year-old kids, if you met for one full year with a therapist, would want to go under the knife at the end of that year?
And what's fascinating for leftists that say that if you're gay, you were born this way.
Right.
Statistically, when kids are told to wait and pause, they end up coming out.
Yes.
So why is the radical left and the trans movement trying to keep kids from being gay?
Why
are they saying if you're attracted to a girl and you're a girl, therefore you must be a man? Like it's crazy town.
I think it's all just a general confusion thing. I was listening to Buck Sexton talk, I think on Megyn Kelly's show the other day, and he's just basically, he was saying what I've been saying for years. If you can convince people a woman is a woman and a man is a woman and a woman is a man, everything's on the table. By the way, if you can convince someone a man can be a woman can be a man, and this gender thing is just some arbitrary thing, then how easy a slam dunk is climate change or Black Lives Matter? I mean, that's easy convincing. You can convince people, once you do man is a woman and woman is a man, you convince anyone of anything.
Or abortion isn't murder, or pot is good, or teachers unions know best.
A layup compared to this.
Yep.
And that's the plan. And get people in a general state of confusion where they're questioning their reality. And they're also having to shut up. I mean, I don't think most people that went along with it just were scared. They didn't want to get yelled at or fired from their job or whatever that is. But mission accomplished, except for it didn't work because you can't fight Mother Nature, and now we got this. So anyway, this guy
apparently was 56. He was a father of 6. He murdered his wife, his soon-to-be ex-wife Roberta, and his 23-year-old son Aiden in Rhode Island over the weekend at a high school hockey game. It happened on Monday, so it was over the President's Day weekend. Colleagues called him short-tempered and was known as being an odd bird who showed up to work in quote-unquote inappropriate clothing, including short skirts and dresses. They told this to the Providence Journal. How the hell could you wear high heels in a shipyard, said Ryan Fisher, who worked with Dorgan for 7 years. He added that he was an employee as an electric cable puller, and because, quote unquote, they had muscle. And another coworker who didn't want to be named claimed that he had only just shown off photos of his ex-wife and kids at the shipyards just days before the shooting, and that he had previously referred to his ex as his princess and gave zero indication as they were divorced and had gushed about how much he loved his whole family. Apparently he had stressed about having that reputation and was very vocal about being into guns.
What happened to the 1-year therapy deal that we put into place sensibly for gender reassignment surgery back in the day? What is it, just gone now? Somebody went, nah, no more of that.
I think that certain states are implementing it again, specifically or banning it when it comes to minors. I mean, this guy underwent gender reassignment surgery in 2020. So think about the hormones that you are fake pumping into your body.
Yes.
It's crazy.
It just be crazy. Yeah.
I just think that.
Look, between all the serotonin reuptake inhibitors we're pumping into the young people and all these fucking trans hormones, yeah, your fucking brain is scrambled.
Yeah.
Of course you're going to do something dumb. I'll let you clear your throat, but something I thought about, maybe Dawson will remember this. Tucker Carlson used to talk about this guy. Remember the Canadian shop teacher that had the triple G tits that were like inflatable? He was just walking around with the giant tits, and he like the school board. I love Canada because they're like, oh, geez, what do we do? What do we do? Tell that crackpot to go home. He can't work in front of kids.
He's you know what I mean?
But they're like, no, but he's got to. I don't. Do you remember this story?
Oh, I do.
I don't know.
It was literally like a shelf.
Right, but whatever happened to that fella who insisted on showing up to school? Like, was he goofing on the system?
No, I think he really wanted to.
And the school board had to defend him and let him teach because they're Canada and you can't judge.
It's just gross. And it's sad.
Wait.
And I would yank my kid out of that school so fast.
Hold on. I'm looking at a screen. Something's on my screen. Now it says he then also shot himself. But you're talking about the school. You're talking about the hockey game, right? Yeah. But it'd be nice if this guy shot himself too, right? I mean, wouldn't that be good? Oh, what? Is this person still teaching shop?
I'm not going to say that they need to kill themselves. I'm going to say that Canada needs to grow a pair and and make this person, quit, fire, resign.
Well, this story's like 7 years old, so I don't know what the hell happened. I'll tell you what. Andrew, circle it because tomorrow we'll follow up on the Canadian with the triple G's.
I'll be here tomorrow to follow up on that.
Please remember. All right. I'm going to be, as I said, in Dallas, Texas at Hyenas, doing club shows, a couple shows February 27th, 28th, Friday, Saturday. adamcarolla.com is where you go. Jackie Fabulous, her Hulu special, You Can Leave, is available as we speak. Alicia Krause, op-ed for the Washington Examiner, always bringing the verbiage. And until next time, this is Adam for Alicia and Jackie saying mahalo. All right, so you got some news. Let's do it, huh? So this has been making the rounds. Customer orders Charlie Kirk's Starbucks drink and finds disturbing hate message. Employee gets fired. This is an Ohio woman ordered Charlie Kirk's to go to Starbucks drink, which, by the way, what do you think that is, Ace? There's a Charlie Kirk drink?
Yeah. So it's not like it's named after him at Starbucks. It was what he would order when he went to Starbucks.
Oh, I didn't.
And people have been ordering it ever since September 10th. Yeah.
I see. Because it would seem very off-brand to have them dedicate a drink to them, but people are ordering that. I'm looking at a thing that says mint something on it, honey and whatever. So he does a tea, I'm guessing.
They popped the balloon there. Yeah, minty majesty tea with 2 honeys.
2 honeys.
2 honeys.
Yeah, I wouldn't think that, but I wouldn't know. And by the way, the people in their beverages are all over the road. It's hard to connect them. You know, I can do a lot of racial profiling and do lots of profiling and know where people are going with stuff. Drinks, I never know. I never know who's the latte, who's the almond latte. I mean, pain in the ass chick is always, the bigger pain in the ass you are in life, the longer your Starbucks drink is. That much I know, but I would have never guessed Charlie Kirk. I would have thought, I think Republican guy, conservative guy, just think black coffee.
Yeah. Yeah, I always see the guys that are outside of the Starbucks, like the road construction guys, and it's all the dudes in the reflective vests, and then there's the one guy who's like maybe from the city or maybe from corporate, who's like the project manager, and the guy goes in and orders 6 black coffees, and then he needs a minty fruit latte with whipped cream on top and sprinkles, and you're like, I know exactly who that drink is going for.
I was behind someone who ordered light foam. And I was like, you like foam or don't you like foam, bitch? In or out with your fucking foam. So she wrote something. Yes. This is for the racist or whatever.
Yeah, so on the side of the drink, it was handwritten, racist fave drink on the side of the cup. This woman complained to corporate. She went and talked to Kroger's, who ran that certain Starbucks. The employee had admitted to writing on the side of the cup and was immediately fired on spot.
Good. And the thing about racist is, let's stop throwing it around so sort of willy-nilly. It's a big thing. It's also a reason to put someone in the ground. So I don't know what their thing is on the left, but everyone look, I have thoughts about what ails the black community, but that doesn't make me racist. I have thoughts about what ails many communities and many white people as well. That doesn't make me anything other than I have thoughts. And we've constructed some sort of system where they're like, well, yeah, but you're not black, but you're not. Okay, I don't play for the Rams, but I have thoughts about what they could have done the other weekend to win a football game. That's what I do. I have thoughts about everything.
Sure.
Not just me. I don't like it's just contained to my kids. I have thoughts about other people's kids as well. So shut the fuck up. What do you mean no thoughts? I have thoughts about how to run everything all the time.
Yeah.
And yes.
Also, me and the boys were in the back talking. Female Republicans have come a long way over the last few years, have they not? Like, look at this lady on the right. That is the new face of the Republican Party, where back in the day you had Barbara Bush.
Oh, I thought this was a chick who wrote on the cup.
No, she's the one who
got the cup.
Yeah, I had to make sure that we were correct in that too. So so this is the woman who got the cup.
Yeah.
And then, because you would assume that this is the woman who wrote on the side.
She's got the tats and the head shave and the weird, I don't know, Pomeranian hairdo. I don't know what we call that, but she's the victim of it.
Yeah.
Also, I don't know what the attraction is to calling people racist. Like, I just don't presume to know what's in their heart. I don't really care. It seems like a weird calorie burner to go after people. Like I don't know. That guy, remember 10 minutes ago, we had to pop the tires of anyone driving a Tesla? Remember that from 10 minutes ago? Back when America wasn't ready for a gay vice president. Remember, we had to go to, this seems like a big calorie burner. Did anyone go, it's an electric car. It's good. It's good for the earth. We used to like Elon. I don't have to retroactively go pop his tires. It's all like it's like 9-year-old behavior. It's weird.
Remember when it was quaint when Starbucks just decided to put a war on Christmas with Happy Holidays? That was quaint, and now they're calling everybody racist. It feels like
I know. I miss the holidays.
Miss those days, right? Donald Trump slammed statue showing him holding hands with Jeffrey Epstein. This thing is glorious. I was in Washington D.C. yesterday, and I didn't get a chance to swing by and see it. But the new statues erected on the National Mall in Washington D.C. They show Trump and Epstein giddily frolicking together, holding hands with a plaque that reads, we celebrate the long-lasting bond between President Donald J. Trump and his closest friend, Jeffrey Epstein. Trump did not hold back in a statement that was made from the White House to TMZ. Liberals are free to waste their money however they see fit. But it's not news that Epstein knew Donald Trump because Donald Trump kicked Epstein out of his club for being a creep.
You know what we should do? You know what Trump should do? Here's Trump. If Trump were smart, here's what he'd do. He'd go, I just commissioned a bronze statue of Magellan holding hands with Marco Polo.
Marco Polo, yes.
Two of the greatest explorers, two of the greatest mariners ever. And 10 seconds later, a bunch of fucking Antifa people would show up and just fucking tear it down.
Yeah.
He should just. We won't know who it is from here. I don't know what Epstein's statue looks like. You know what I mean? Just say I did. Maybe we should do. I don't know. Let's see. Let's pick who don't we like? Who doesn't the left like? I mean, I guess we could like Saint Peter frolicking with Christopher Columbus.
Yeah, I was going to say anybody who is named after a lake is named after them currently. That's usually probably who the left hates. So,
all right, well, just pick those two, put out there, Antifa shows up, tears it down that night.
Yeah.
Okay.
I do like the detail in that statue, though. They should have got that guy to do the Dwayne Wade statue outside of the, because that is brutal looking. But that's pretty good.
I was trying to think. They didn't cast it out of bronze.
No.
Because each one would weigh 2 tons.
Yeah.
But did they use like a CNC type programming, whatever? Like, can you make this old stuff on a computer now and then rattle can it bronze? You know, to spray paint it.
3D printing. They probably made this thing and then put it up. Yeah, that seems legit. I like that he came out right away and was like, mad about holding hands with a dude. That's why I love Trump. He's like, I totally fuck Stormy Daniels and I don't hold hands with dudes. Okay, that's what I love about it.
3D printed, yeah, probably. There's also there's a bad soccer statue. Who's the bad soccer statue of?
Oh.
Ronaldo.
Okay.
There's a bad soccer Ronaldo statue. And by the way, I don't know. Do you think they did that shit to like George Washington? Like, do we really know what George Washington looked like?
Yeah, I remember having a picture in my high school library and going, how do we all know exactly like that was the dude? Because they never showed him smiling because they said he had wooden teeth.
Right.
I'm like, at some point, wouldn't those things rot out? Wouldn't you get an infection? Wouldn't you die from some sort of like medical condition by having wooden teeth? I feel like.
Also, he lived in a time where we had ivory and stuff. And there were great smiths, that could carve out of alabaster and stuff. I don't know why you'd do one out of.
Oh, Lordy, look at that. That's amazing. We could do that.
Ronaldo looks like he's got Down syndrome. like if you take a Down syndrome guy and you give him a hot dog and you tell him there's cheese inside of it, that's the look he makes.
Wouldn't somebody, whoever was supposed to put this thing out, look at the guy who sculpted this and say, we got to melt it down and start again. We can't put this out to the public.
I feel like with statues, let me explain what a statue or a carving or bronzing or a head, a bust. Here's the process. Nobody says, I would like you to build me a custom home. How long will it take? And then you go, well, it's going to take about 17 months. And I go, I'll be back in 17 months in 1 day. You hit the job site like twice a month or every Friday, and you walk around, and invariably the person who's paying for it goes, ooh, where are you going to put the tub? Mm-hmm. No tub in the master suite. When the tub goes in the guest suite or whatever. tons of stuff, everything from I don't want this outlet here to here's what I want my island to look like, you know, but you can't just leave and come back when it's done because you're going to open the front door and you're going to see a bunch of shit you didn't really like.
Yeah.
That they did wrong. And I feel like with statues, whoever the statue is of, they got to show up once a week and sort of check progress.
Yeah.
Or why don't we just get the Madame Tussauds wax house, you know, whoever's doing the wax stuff. The wax ones are dead nuts on.
Yeah.
Every single time. You literally like you see Kim Kardashian posing next to her wax museum pose, and you can't tell which one is Kim Kardashian.
Yeah, I was going to say they should start out, because I come from the land of butter sculptures. Start with the butter sculpture.
Start with butter.
And then you take the plaster of Paris, you get the form, and then you form from there. That way you know it's correct.
Or you end up with Ronaldo.
Yeah.
All right.
Man,
what else
brutal.
you got?
Rhode Island high school coach who did naked fat test sentenced to 1 year of probation. This happened on Monday. A judge sentenced a former high school basketball coach to a year of probation after he spent decades asking hundreds of male student athletes if they were shy or not before asking them to get naked so he could check their body fat. Turns out that he was actually found not guilty on second-degree child molestation and second-degree sexual assault in a case that scrutinized the so-called naked fat test, but then was later given 2 counts of a lesser degree, 2 counts of misdemeanor battery. So throughout the nearly 6-week trial, defense attorneys for Thomas argued that the tests were wrong, but not a crime.
Well, once you get into your underpants, how much more do we need to see if you're fat or not?
Yeah, we kind of know. I mean, there's a lot. Everybody's wearing the V-neck T-shirts again, and they are not quite as form-fitting as they used to be. So a lot of dudes with tits out there walking around these days.
Yeah, I think you can kind of tell through a dress shirt and the V form. You're right, the V form. And there's dudes with titty syndrome, and then there's women with huge upper arm syndrome.
Yeah.
And I'm like, could you pick a shirt that's a little more flattering for you? Because I can see your man titties from across the mall, and I see that fucking Nate Newton upper arm from across the mall, and it's like there's such a thing as long sleeves or hoodies or things that don't accentuate this thing so much.
Wear dark, wear layers.
Yeah, that's right. The vertical stripes.
Yeah. My high school, up until about maybe 3 years before I got there, they made the boys swim naked in class, gym class, naked.
Really?
Yeah. And we looked it up. There's a whole thing about it that was online. Hibbing High School, if you Google it, obviously be a little cautious about what you Google. But yeah, they would they made you swim naked. The boys had to swim naked up until, I think 11th grade. Girls got to wear a suit. And then I think it was a few years before I got there, like the late 80s, early 90s is when they finally got rid of it.
Really?
Yeah.
Dudes naked, but just with dudes.
Just with dudes, yeah. Yep. So they would actually, folklore says that there was a bunch of dudes in swim class that were doing the class, and somebody did not lock the door, and there was a woman who opened it up, and there was just a bunch of dudes standing on the edge of the pool naked. So after that is when they started chaining and barring the door so nobody could walk in. And there used to be these big giant curtains that if they weren't pulled back, you could see right into the lunchroom. So if there was a little sliver of daylight, you could stick your eyes up to the glass and basically see these kids naked.
I don't know if we talked about this, but there's something going on because I have found myself as an old dude walking through the locker room at the spa, dropping the towel, getting naked, getting in, and every guy's wearing trunks now. Like, guys, first off, there was no such thing back in the day of being in the men's side of the spa in the locker room wearing trunks in a jacuzzi. And there was no trunks in the sauna, no trunks in the steam room. There was you might have the towel wrapped around you. You drop the towel and slide into the whatever. Yeah. But guys are modest now. Like, that's a whole new vibe. And I don't know, is it weird? Is there something weird going on with dudes? Are the peckers getting smaller now with the testosterone levels going down and the sperm production going down, and guys getting chubbier.
Yeah.
You know, when guys get chubby, there's more circulating estrogen because it makes your dick smaller,
Absolutely.
like essentially. So is it guys being self-conscious and like having a small pecker and being kind of chubby now? Like what is, or is it a social thing?
Maybe. There was also the stories that came out of, that gal who was like a social influencer, and she took pictures of that naked elderly woman in the women's locker room, and I think the caption said something, "If I have to look at it, so do you," and then posted them online. I think. Yeah. So maybe there's like a little bit of sort of you're a little afraid that maybe there's some sort of camera, something lurking. You're not really sure. But speaking of that, I was watching the new Superman.
Good thought.
I was watching the new Superman on the flight yesterday, and Lex Luthor, the dude who plays Lex Luthor, probably the same age as Gene Hackman. When they both filmed their Supermans, Gene Hackman's voice substantially deeper than the dude who plays Lex Luthor now.
Interesting.
And everybody else, and I was like, wow, even my voice is so much higher than some of the other guys that are, probably 10 years older than me.
Right. Interesting. Yeah, could be a lot of microplastics.
Absolutely.
But you're right, could be who wants to be filmed naked.
Yeah.
I got a good gym dick, so I don't care. As I was talking to the Jillian about.
Yeah.
Gene Hackman is 48 while filming Superman.
Oh, the first one. Okay. And how old's the dude so he must be like in his 40s now. I can't remember the guy's name.
How was Superman? I didn't see it.
He's younger than that. Well, but still, Gene Hackman's voice couldn't have gotten that much deeper between the ages of like 29 and 48. I imagine. It's good. It's so CGI'd, but the story's good and it's fun and it's got some great jokes in it, and it's James Gunn, so you can't really go wrong.
Yeah, I like James.
But, yeah, it's great.
All right, one more.
One last one here. All right, so video of this. Tom Brady makes some comments. He's receiving a lot of criticism for a statement he made on the air during the Cowboys-Bears game after Cowboys wide receiver George Pickens repeatedly slammed his helmet into the ground.
Arms, and Pick's not happy. Yeah, those helmets can be. It's like the dog at home.
Timeout on the field. Wow.
Kick
Right
the dog, throw the helmet.
Man, oh
whatever
man.
it is.
Right.
Yeah.
So kick the dog.
You know, I always think about this stuff when people go, "Oh, people are upset." I go, "No, they're not. No, they're not.
Yeah.
They're just fucking talking.
Yeah.
No one gives a shit."
Yeah,
it's weird. It's a weird thing because I do see the TMZ chicks goes, "He shouldn't be able to." And it's, "Oh, shut up, bitch. Just shut up. There's real problems." Tom Brady doesn't kick his dog. He said, "Kick the dog." He doesn't kick his dog.
It's a phrase. It's what people would say, And until he shows up to game day wearing a coat made of 101 Dalmatians like Cruella de Vil, I'm going to go ahead and just give this a pass and just say he was just saying, making a phrase that is a very common phrase when you're frustrated.
He should lean into it. He should go, "That quarterback's more mobile than Mike Vick. I have not seen a guy who had a cannon." Michael Vick, cannon for an arm, more mobile than anybody else in the league at the time. Mike Vick, people talk about him as a mobile quarterback. Great man.
Yeah.
He's a great man. Humanitarian. NFL Player of the Year, Man of the Year. Got the Walter Payton Man of the Year in 91. A lot of people don't remember that. As a matter of fact, geez, what time is it? Because I got to get going. I'm going to meet Mike Vick. We're going out for cocktails, and then it's off to his backyard where he said he just wanted to give me a tour of the kennel.
Oh, he just sent me a text. "What up, dog? I can meet you at 5 p.m. I got to get blowing, guys. I'm sorry about that."
Yep.
Yeah. You read the stories about people that were upset about it. They said one lady was like, "Oh, kick the dog, Tom. Don't you have a pooch?" Someone else wrote, "You have some explaining and apologizing to do."
I do love the people with the amount of time that they have. Look, I got my life. Everybody, that's all I got. I got 2 hampers. One is a hamper filled with fucking troublemakers who don't pay taxes, who cause crime, who spit their gum out on hot sidewalks, who just all the stuff we don't, who let their dog shits on your lawn and they don't pick it up. And then there's another hamper, and those are the taxpayers and the job creators. Tom Brady is in the happy hamper. You understand?
Yeah.
He's in the good hamper. I give people, what is Tom Brady paid in taxes his life?
I couldn't even imagine. I mean, well into the millions. Probably more than what I make a year, I imagine.
He has, I'm going to say that Tom Brady has paid well over $100 million in taxes quite easily in his youngish time on this planet so far. So he's not part of the problem. There are other people who've been arrested 61 times who are getting the court appointed, whatever. They're in the other hamper. And once you're in this hamper, I don't really have time for you. I don't bust your chops. He's a fucking taxpayer who loves his kids. I'm done with him. Charity work, what have you. Never have enough energy to go, I got to settle this guy's hash.
Yeah.
Do not.
Family members sometimes. I always think about it. Like, we had a conversation the other day where I said that my family was talking about there's going to be a civil war.
200 million is the conservative estimate.
Wow.
On
No way. Man, that is worth it how much he's paid.
How much he's paid?
Get out.
Oh, well, if you're really, you pay a lot in this country. So if you made a lot of money, you're going to pay a lot of taxes.
Man. I'm so glad I'm broke. I will never pay anywhere near any of that. But I'm also not the guy who complains about these guys. I sort of empathize with them and go, if it wasn't for guys in like you and people in your position, I would have no career whatsoever.
That's right.
Yeah.
What were you saying about a family member?
Oh, so we were talking that my family said, well, they're going to cause a civil war. The civil war is coming. And I said, have you guys not been online? We're not fighting on a battlefield. We're fighting on social media. That is our civil war. We put down guns and we're picking up keyboards, and that's where the civil war is happening.
Fighting on Starbucks coffee cups.
Yeah.
That's the battlefield. We're using Sharpies like bayonets. Like retarded people. All right, you can go to adamcarolla.com for all the live shows. Heather and Jillian got themselves a podcast. What do you want? And it's coming out on Friday. Rudy, what dates we got for you this weekend? Reno, Laugh Factory. That's a cool place.
Yeah, going to Reno this weekend. And then please, October 3rd, I'm going to be back in northern Minnesota. I'm going to be at Jenkins, Minnesota, Snarky Loon Brewing. It's a veteran-owned brewery. These guys are great. I can't wait to come back to Minnesota. So please check it out. Go to rudypavichcomedy.com. Get some tickets. Would love to see you guys there.
And Rudy is funny, as I've mentioned before. So, till next time, it's Adam. For Rudy and Jillian and Heather saying, mahalo. What do you got for news?
Here's the news. This is news to no one in this office, but the pastor shocks congregants by revealing himself to be transgender.
Oh.
Tim Dillon's hard.
Oh, man. That guy looks like Tim Dillon. Well, it's actually... Sorry. Keep going.
Sorry, Tim.
Do we have a clip of it?
Oh, yeah, we have a clip. I'm waiting
Are my parents okay with this? Absolutely not. They texted me this morning and they asked for me to tell you all that they do not support me and that they have chosen their convictions and their beliefs over supporting their child.
Sort of a pat-to-pat situation.
It's nervous when there's a special announcement from the pastor. I'm not leaving. Hold on to that. I'm going to hold you to it. So, rarely do I did not get into ministry to talk about myself or my personal life, but sometimes there are things that happen in a pastor's personal life that is going to find its way out into ministry. And so I am inviting you to join me in a season of creative transformation for myself, and I think for all of us. Imagine, so I get to announce with joy that I'm transitioning. I'm affirming and saying to all of you that I am transgender. And so, the best way to put this is that I'm not becoming a woman, I'm giving up pretending to be a man. What will change? Thank God you have never chosen me as your pastor based off of my appearance.
Oh, my God.
Amen.
All right, pause it. I'm telling you, if you are going to transition, you want to be one of those little Thai boys, right? but you don't want to start from.
You're saying Ladyboy draft top pick is Thai girl boy, Thai ladyboy. All right, I'm picking up where you're putting down.
What I'm
This
saying
is the defensive end in the 42nd end. I get it. He's a femme boy, but he's a beefy one.
You don't want. Well, how would I describe him as a male? So between Tom Arnold and Tim Dillon, and then the big gay guy from Modern Family, like somewhere in there.
Yeah.
That's a tough transition.
Definitely bear vibes and trying to go straight to Twinkie.
Yeah.
Twinkie.
All right.
Sorry, that was a slip.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah, tough. It's a tough
that's
road to hoe.
I'm not going to church. I can't imagine how much work. I am way too lazy
to molest back that priest.
Yeah, I cannot switch. I can't even. Do you know? I was talking about it with Jay Moore the other day. Like, if I come home from filming something and I have makeup on my face, I stand in the bathroom and go,
Yeah.
I got to use soap. Oh, my God. And then as part of me start weighing it out, like, just go to bed. Well, get shit on the pillowcase. Yeah, I know, but with the soap and everything on I'm so fucking lazy that I could not be applying makeup every day and wiping it off and squeezing my shit into
Maybe if
this
I had
and that.
lava, I could have done a better job.
All right, let's talk about important things. I want to show you a clip. I took film of there's a job. The only work that's going on all of PCH and all of Malibu. I went and filmed it today. I was listening to Trump give his presser, and he was talking about pile drivers going all night. He had like a boner about it. He was so excited about it. Listen to this guy. Listen to this guy. Okay, the last guy, brain dead Joe Biden, never stopped talking about racism and baggage fees for black people and knee room and whatever. I don't know what the fuck he was talking about. This guy, you don't think he's a builder? This is him talking.
It was mistreated.
The White House.
And now it's being given love. And we're building one of the great, I think, maybe the greatest ballroom. We needed it for 150 years. They've been asking. You see the trucks and cranes and excavators in the background. And you hear them, and every time I hear them, I love the sound. To me, I love the sound. I wouldn't say my wife is thrilled. She hears pile drivers in the background all day, all night. They go till 12 o'clock in the evening. Day, night, pile drivers. Darling, could you turn off the pile drivers? Sorry, darling, that's progress. But
all right. By the way, lady, hey, could you stop this stuff? Guy, no. It's progress. We need to build shit. Sorry, ladies. We're building stuff.
All night with the pile drivers. All night.
Sorry. We're building shit.
Yeah.
That's what we got to get back to versus, I don't know, a seat at the table, good vibes, nonsense, non-talk.
He knocked the whole damn house down and rebuilt the whole thing. It's wild.
Fucking pile driver.
It's wild.
But I went out this morning and I told you people, all right, one day soon I will dedicate 25 minutes to this subject, which is a metaphor for the reason why we can't do anything in California and in Los Angeles. And I'll tie it all together, but I can't do it in 5 minutes. It's going to take half an hour, but I'm working on it. I'm working on an expose that involves foundations as a metaphor for why we can't do anything in California. But there is one place only being built on all of Pacific Coast Highway. And I've been walking by there in the mornings and looking at it and filming it. And I told you guys that they're sinking 6-story piles or caissons into the ground. That's a 6-story building. It's a 6-story building in the ground. A foot of it may stick up, and maybe in some places more. But the soil line, there's a 6-story, when you're standing on that lot, there's 6-story buildings underneath you worth of these piles and caissons, and there's 35 or 70 of them, and they're everywhere.
Got it.
And we're building this thing they're having to build a seawall now. And I'll show it to you. Now you go, what's a seawall? Well, first off, why do you need a seawall? We never had, the whole beach doesn't have a seawall. Has anyone walked on the beach and tripped on a seawall? It's all of Santa Monica, all of Malibu. You could walk to Venice Beach. There's no seawall. But if you want to build a house over the sea, you need a seawall underneath you for no fucking good reason. Now remember, it was just telephone poles going into the ground. Every single house built. I was in Miramar and around Santa Barbara. I was walking the beach and I was looking at modern homes. They built multi-million-dollar, huge cement caissons. I came across a place that was built clearly in the 40s. It was just telephone poles, smack 10 feet down, and then they have cross braces that kind of connect them and lock off the telephone pole. That's it. Place is still sitting there. I mean, it didn't burn down. The sea didn't get it. No seawall. No seawall, just telephone poles. And it's the place next to it has a massive seawall and all the caissons in the world, but the place without it is still there. But anyway, I filmed this and I figured out how they're going to build this seawall, and I'll explain it to you guys, and I'll try to do it in such a way that you understand it. Oh, this is Dutched sideways. Sorry. Oh, it went. Andrew, we got to figure out a way to flip it on its side. Anyway, what they do is they sink these caissons, they drill them.
Yeah.
Then they drop a 6-story cage into them. Then they fill them all with concrete.
Yeah.
And they make rows of it in front against the ocean, close to the ocean, maybe 20 feet back from the ocean.
Okay.
And the caissons are spread out like every 12, 15 feet.
And just wait, they're drilling into bedrock, or down two?
They're going down 6 stories. I don't know how far into bedrock that is, and it'll be called out. You get a soils report, a geologist, an engineer. It'll be a little different wherever.
What's the next step after they lay these caissons?
So I was curious how you build the seawall. The seawall is not above ground. It's below ground.
Yeah.
It's below.
Oh, so there has to be like underneath the earth. That's just purely caissons?
What they do...
I was imagining a wall on top of these caissons.
No.
Oh, wow.
They dig, then they got to excavate down.
What?
Oh, yeah. And
what are we doing? Digging for gold?
When I was there, it was flooded because the seawater had seeped in overnight and flooded the excavated area, and they were trying to pump it out. You can hear the pump. They're pumping it out so they can get to it. Now he turned it up. Sorry. So the soil line is where I'm standing. And
comes in overnight.
So this is where the sand begins, I guess you'd say?
They dug it all out. You can pause it there. And the ocean is right there.
Yeah.
And so they go down, and what you're looking at is water at the bottom of this pit that they're pumping out.
Underneath sea level.
So what they have to do, because I talked to a guy, I guess you can play it out. Talk to him off camera. So they got all these.
This is the one building.
This is one house. This is one small house. There's going to be $2.5 million into the foundation. You won't see any of it. They got to build a seawall on the seaside. They have to build a retaining wall on the highway side. These are millions of dollars. It's going to cost to put a fucking house there. It's all in the name of safety, except for there's a house. The pier up the street, it's just on telephone poles. It was built in 1902.
So what?
It's still there.
What are you in favor of, and why is it like this too? Like, why? It's just all up the code. This is the new code.
Okay. What people don't realize is safety can destroy society. We fucked up every kid in the name of safety because of COVID, because we had a whole bunch of people announce if one person dies, that's one too many. All right, you shut down schools, you fucked up kids, you got an experimental vaccination they didn't need. Your safety shit. Okay. Add. They keep adding, and it's all in the name of safety, but at some point it becomes cost prohibitive. It's too expensive. And the reason we can't get low-cost housing here is because there's so many fucking regulations that we can't do it. So people say all the time, they go, $680,000 for a 400 square foot box for a homeless. Why does it cost 600? It's not like the Mexicans that are building it get $700 an hour. They get $30 an hour. The same as they would get in El Paso. It's all the fucking regulation. And by the way, the commercial builders go, I'm out. I'm not doing this. It's too expensive. And so's everyone along PCH, except for this one place. So here's how they do it. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
I'm going to treat you like a set. You'll be a lay person.
Oh, well,
Listen.
I am ready
All
to
right.
get laid.
I was trying to figure out how they did the seawall, like exactly what was the seawall. All right, so they drill the caissons.
Yeah.
Caisson it's about 3 foot around. Maybe it's 32.
It looks enormous, yeah.
It's about 3 foot around, goes down 6 stories, comes up to about surface level, sand level.
Jeez.
They're spread out, let's say about 12 feet apart. And they make a line of them in front of the ocean. Not that far in front of the ocean. It's already flooded. They make a line. Then they excavate and they dig down, and they got to go 20 feet from the top to the bottom of the seawall. 20 feet. Now, to be fair, the caisson would come out of the ground about 4 feet or something at that level at the sea. So they go down about 15 feet. From the top, they go down about 15 feet and they excavate.
And about how much does that cost? about
$2.5 million to get this fucking
Well,
base
I mean, it's
done.
worth it if it blocks a tsunami.
It'll stop an atomic bomb.
That's what I thought, yeah.
So they go all the way down, they excavate. Now you have these round posts sticking up, now exposed, like 15 feet in the air, 20 feet in the air. So I'm saying to the guy, what do you do? Now, how do you do the seawall? He goes, the seawall, because my thing is, I'm thinking like an engineer, how are we tying the seawall into these round caisson, the round, and they stick up 15 feet. He goes, we got to dowel into them. I go, okay, I get it. Doweling is just drill it. You drill it, and you take 3/4 inch rebar, and every 1 foot, you just epoxy it in, like you're making a ladder. And they stick out like 3 feet, and they go in a foot into the caisson. And you do all that. Then you build a cage, which you've now doweled into the post. Every foot, you do the center of it. You, like I said, it's 3/4, number 6.
And then you put the wall on top of that.
You tie it into that, more rebar, more 3/4 inch rebar, and that connects from one post to the other post. Then you form it. Then you put the plywood. I asked them how thick, 14 inches thick, and it's 14 inches of reinforced concrete that gets tied into each post that goes down 15 feet, starts at the top of the post, goes all the way down, creates the seawall. But there are no other seawalls in the whole fucking stretch, and half the houses were built there before the seawall, and there's no erosion problem. It's just the fucking sand is underneath the house like it is everywhere else. The pier doesn't have a seawall. Then they have to build another wall on the highway side to retain the highway.
But how are we going to retain the ocean if we don't all build the seawall together? Build the wall. There's
miles and miles and miles of coast. This is going to take up about 35 feet of the coast with the seawall.
You're driving me nuts with this, Adam Carolla. I don't know why they're building the seawall at all.
Because
I don't know why you're telling me this.
The Coastal Commission, the bitches at the Coastal Commission want it done.
You're saying that a new commission needs a new job to do, so they make new rules so that it got to go 6 feet down, 6 stories down, and then put caissons on top of caissons so that we can just have a place to smoke cigarettes?
Right. And so the moral of the story is what is wrong with this? Okay. What is wrong with making a rule that says everyone who flies commercially has to wear a parachute? You go, well,
I'm down, dog. You feel like Superman standing
it's going to take up a lot of room, and it's going to add a lot of extra expense to that ticket. Yeah, but in the name of safety. But in the name of safety. But in the name of safety. Yeah, I get it. Now, what it is the bitches that are making the rules, They're not operating the caisson rig. They're not paying for it. They're not paying for the cement. They're not paying for the rebar. They're not paying for the soils report. They're not paying for the deputy inspector. They're not paying for any of it. So they just sit around and make more fucking rules and cost more fucking money. And then at some point they go, we have a shortage of low-cost housing. Housing. You know what the average house is? The average family can't afford the average house. Yeah, bitch, they can't. Because we have a problem. Because you've overregulated and they can't build. And then their plan is never peeling back regulation. You know what their plan is? The average family of four can't afford a house in the San Fernando Valley because the average house in San Fernando Valley is $1.6 million. Here's my plan. We're going to raise the minimum wage to $80 an hour. We'll raise the minimum wage, and then that family of four will be able to afford that. No, McDonald's is moving out of state, bitch. That's what's happening, and they're automating, and they're going to have a kiosk and Flippy the robot, and no more work for your fucking people. But your plan is overregulate the fuck out of everything, add price to everything, and then when people can't afford the shit you overregulated, well, we'll give them an extra $80 an hour for minimum wage, and then they'll be able to afford it. That's your fucking retards version of the economy.
The other thing they're doing is they're trying to eliminate, especially in Los Angeles, single-family home zoned neighborhoods.
Right.
So forget it. You can't afford a family home? No problem. We're going to put an apartment building next door, and maybe you can afford one of those.
Yes. So I will keep an eye on this one place and one place only. Now, the other places...
Do you know who owns it? Are these people Chinese investors, or are they
I
Malibu?
heard a story that they'd already had their shit in place before the fire. If you ever see any progress,
right,
like when Karen Bass goes, "Oh, we finished our first home in the Palisades," that house had already pulled permits, pulled soils, pulled engineering. That cleared plan check. That place was pre-fire ready to be built. That's why it's done now. So don't believe the hype. This place, there's one property in all of PCH that's being built on. There's a story. And the story is they probably pulled all the permits and did all the stuff and were moving before the fire. And then the fire came in, did them a favor, took the structure out, and now they're going because there was nothing else. And the other thing, there's a wall in the Palisades that somebody graffitied on, and it said, like, "Thanks for taking my house, Karen Bass," and that thing promptly got painted over. But all the other places on PCH, that shit's tagged. It's all tagged. It's been tagged. I took pictures of it months ago. Nobody's coming in and cleaning that up.
I did it, Dick.
So Karen Bass did not dispatch anybody to clean up all the shit along PCH. She did dispatch someone to clean up the sign criticizing her for the Palisades fire. That one got taken care of. Yes, it's like my house now, Mayor Bass, and it's somebody stenciled it.
Straight Banksy.
Right, and that is Banksy-esque. And then they just went and cleaned it up. But again, I'll take pictures and put them up. It's all.
Well, I'm just going to keep tagging dicks until one of them goes viral.
Yeah, by the way, like the owner would clean that up. There's no fucking house there. Why would you get him with a bucket of primer? There's more new tagging. So I will keep you posted, but it is absolutely insane. It's cost prohibitive, and it's a metaphor for the problems we have in the city, but it's also a metaphor for big government. It's why you don't want a bunch of fucking dumb yentas sitting around making fucking choices. And when anyone talks about dictatorship, fuck right off, because the ultimate overhand and overreach of government is you not being able to build shit on your own property. You understand? You got to ask them for permission, and you got to put $2.5 million into a seawall before you can begin framing that house. And they don't look at that as overreach of government, but they do look at Trump rounding up illegals as overreach of government. That's where they're at. They don't look at forcing a vaccine on you as overreach of government, but they look at enforcement of the border as overreach of government. They're all fucking ass backwards. It's got to change, man.
Yeah, it's it's like a softening of the culture. On that side is a lot of people that have an abundance of empathy. Some would argue suicidal empathy.
I'm gonna go with suicidal empathy. All right, Mayhem, I'm gassed out now.
All right,
I know you
God
got
bless
stories,
you.
but I'm
Thanks
tired.
for that.
Hey, Santa Barbara this weekend. My daughter and her friends are coming out. Everybody, that'll be this Friday. Santa Barbara Comedy Club. Then Saturday, me and Jay Moore, Dos Lagos Amphitheater out here in Corona. And then it's off to Florida. Doing good there. I think some tickets in the Miami Improv. A couple shows each night. December 12th and 13th. Mayhem, what do you got?
Yeah, I got Thunder Studios Lights Out promotion. We'll see you guys there this weekend.
All right. Rudy.
Hey, buddy.
You got news over there?
Yeah, let's do it, huh?
I don't have your bio.
No?
That is interesting.
That's all right. I'm not really a human, so that's okay. I don't really exist. This is a plane of existence.
Yeah, I know, but I like to give you plugs and all that kind of stuff. But all right, we'll get your bio.
Yeah.
News-wise.
News-wise. All right. So Snoop Dogg said he was caught off guard after grandson asked him how two women could possibly have a baby in the animated film Lightyear. He said, quote, "I'm scared to go to the movies, like y'all throwing me in the middle of this shit that I don't have an answer for. It threw me for a loop. I'm like, what part of the movie was this? These are kids. They're going to ask. I don't have answers. And I was just there to go to sleep and watch the movie. That shit woke me up."
He was there to sleep and watch
the movie, which is, I don't know how you watch a movie while simultaneously sleeping, but he is Snoop Dogg, so.
Yeah, I know. It's so funny that everyone gets their fucking panties in a bunch over this. Also, it's Snoop Dogg.
Yeah.
Like, if there's anybody on the planet that we don't need to be politically correct and or toe whatever societal retarded line we're getting into today, it's Snoop Dogg.
Yeah.
First of all he does is smoke pot and talk about pimping and hoeing. Mm-hmm. So
Also,
get used to it.
At some point, he was the person that parents had to explain to their children. Like, I remember I got grounded for a Snoop Dogg CD, and if my mom would have known that years later that lesbians would be in Pixar movies, she probably would have gave me the goddamn Snoop Dogg CD back and just been like, okay, just listen to your shitty music.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's okay to explain your experiences. Like, I think you can go, I was at a movie. I was with my granddaughter. Two chicks popped up with a kid. My kid turned to me and went, what are these two mommies doing with a baby? And I didn't really have a good explanation for my 6-year-old granddaughter. Because that's what happened.
Yeah.
I mean, it's sort of like saying I got into an elevator and it was stalled in between floors. And someone goes, why are you talking shit about elevators? You go, that's what happened to me. I'm not saying I don't like elevators, and I'm not saying I don't use elevators, and I'm telling you not to use an elevator. I'm saying this is this thing that happened.
Yeah.
So you can say what happened, and then you can go, I had to explain to her that sometimes mommies love each other and end up getting married, or there's some sort of nice version of that that Snoop Dogg would never say. Yeah. And then there's what he did experience. But I do agree that, like, my whole thing, and I think all parents feel this way too, which is like, look, first off, whatever's out there, there's stuff out there. There is Al-Qaeda out there, and there's like honor killings, and there is genital mutilation, and there's bizarre German porn that
I know.
I'm an adult atheist and it would freak me out, give me nightmares. There's all of it is out there. And then there's the trans community, and that's like, that is fine, and I don't care about the trans community. But then you go, the trans community wants to come into your first grade class and start talking to them about something. And then I go, that I don't want.
Yeah.
And then they go, why not? You have a beef with that community? And I go, no, I don't have a beef with a lot of stuff. I don't have a beef with the German porn, but I don't want it showed in the first grade. So there's stuff that I just want separated from that stuff.
Yeah.
And I think somebody decided, especially Disney and Pixar and Hollywood, that it would be a good idea to get everyone exposed to everything early, as if that was some solution.
Yeah.
I don't think it's a solution. Like, I think kids, especially in this modern society, find their way into everything eventually, and we don't need, like, do not worry. Your young son and young daughter will discover there's something called the trans community at some point, and they'll also discover Al-Qaeda at some point, and they'll also discover genital mutilation, and they'll also hear the song Man-Eater by Hall & Oates. It's all going to happen.
All the shitty things in life are going to come on.
We don't want it to happen.
Yeah.
We wish we could shield our children from Man-Eater. But it cannot, or Abracadabra by Steve Miller. It's going to happen.
Yeah.
But I don't want to play Abracadabra while they're in the crib.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I feel the same way about Don't Stop Believing. Like, I don't need that in the classroom while the trans lady is trying to read Berenstain Bears.
They are never going to be able to escape Don't Stop Believing by Charity.
It's fucking possible.
It is impossible. It is ubiquitous. It is everywhere. It's relentless.
Yeah.
It doesn't sleep. It's whatever the speech the guy gave about the Terminator in the first Terminator.
Yeah,
that's
it
what
stop.
Don't Stop
It doesn't
Believing.
feel.
It doesn't have remorse. You can't reason with it. It's an ear-killing machine.
Yeah, it's so bad. It's awful. And then on top of it, it was like it lulled for a few years. It came out and then it lulled, and then the goddamn Sopranos had to put it in to that final episode. And when it cuts to black and you hear the "Don't Stop," boom, and it was like it shot it into the stratosphere. And now every stupid fucking baseball game I go to, every time I go to a Lynx WNBA game, now I got to sit and listen to that goddamn song.
Yeah, I will. I'm going to say this. Don't Stop Believing is not as bad a song as Abracadabra, but it gets played 72 times as much, or maybe 1,000 times as much. And so there's two categories for songs. There's horrible songs that get played enough that we should never have heard in the first place. And then there's songs that I was fine with until I was beaten over the head with them.
Yeah.
And that's where I have Don't Stop Believing.
Well, it's weird that there's stuff that's so middle of the road and bad, and yet it gets so many spins. Like, if you just happen to turn on TNT and they're playing The Son of Mask, I don't need that movie. I
agree.
like Jamie Kennedy. He's a fun guy, but that movie's a piece of shit, and I don't need it to be on network television when I'm in my hotel room on a Saturday afternoon.
I tend to think those... And I agree with you on that. Like, I don't know why we need to see Son of Mask ever again.
No.
But I think there's a financial explanation, which is those movies cost less to clear or whatever it is.
Oh, sure.
And if you want a Tarantino film, that might come with a different price tag. So I think there's some economic part of that. The Don't Stop Believing part is just people being dumb.
Yeah.
And when you're dumb, you like repetition. And you're basically more animal than man, and that's where Don't Stop Believing comes in. But anyway, the whole point is we do not need to pipe in Don't Stop Believing into our kids' nursery, because at some point they will be hit with Don't Stop Believing.
Yeah.
And I feel the same way about the trans stuff.
Yeah. Plus, also, I like that old Louis C.K. bit where he goes, I don't know, it's your shitty kid. You figure out how to talk to him. Why do I have to be the guy who's bringing it? Did you see this video? This is great. This is peak North Carolina. A North Carolina woman is being celebrated after a video clip of her physically detaining a suspected pickpocket in Venice went viral on social media.
Venice, Italy.
Venice, Italy, yes. Yep.
She's holding on to her hair?
Holding her right by the ponytail. Held her for an hour.
You stole my purse with my passport in it. Police.
I do like when chicks think if they scream loud enough, shit'll get fixed.
Yeah.
Call them. Okay.
There's a great moment in here where she talks about her kids. She's got 8 kids.
Is it an Italian woman?
Italian woman, yeah.
Maybe I'll get
She has a
my
smoke show, too. She's pretty cute.
I don't even care if you keep it cash.
Both them
man.
gals, yeah.
Yeah. I think that's part of it.
Yeah.
Gotta be cute.
There's a whole episode of White Lotus where they go. It's on a loop, guys. You can turn that off. Yeah, there's an episode of White Lotus where there's women that are sort of like that, like very good looking. They're in Italy. They use their looks to get by, and then they end up scamming guys like that. But one of the things a woman yelled, which I love, is as that woman was screaming, the suspected pickpocket, she said, "You're not getting away. I'm not stopping, kid. I have 8 kids. You don't get to me."
Wow. I'm always secretly jealous of those people because I would let her go. I just want to hassle it.
Yeah. I would say just give me my shit back and then you can leave. I don't need to deal with this. I don't need you to get around. I don't care. I just want my stuff.
You know, the one time I thwarted a pickpocket purse snatcher in Santa Monica as I was chasing the guy down the sidewalk on some woman's behalf, she just screamed help in the middle of the street. I don't know, it's like 9 at night. I just ran down. So the guy stole me and I just went chasing after him. The whole time I was chasing after him, I was thinking about the part where I was going to like have to hold him in a headlock or something.
Yeah.
And he was going to be screaming, come on, man, you know, or whatever. And I kept going over it in my head. Like I was like, from the time I get my hands on this guy to the time the cops show up, it's going to be like at least 10 minutes. And for that 10 minutes, I'm going to be hanging on to this guy, and he's going to be screaming about like having kids and just trying to get enough money to get some food together, man. And, you know, this is my 3rd strike, and I'll be locked up. And I'll just be hanging on to him going, this is so uncomfortable.
Sure.
Emotionally,
Yeah.
you know, it was weird. I didn't even think about the physical part of it.
Yeah, he's going to be like, I don't even like Don't Stop Believing. Fucking A.
I felt so bad. And I was like, but I was starting to catch up to him, you know? And I was like, it's going to be so uncomfortable.
Pretend to trip. Oh, no.
No, I was really like, this is going to be so uncomfortable. I wasn't thinking about the physical part. I was just thinking about the emotional part of it.
Yeah.
And also, I was just bad. Like, I couldn't write people tickets and stuff like that. I couldn't be a cop because I couldn't pull over poor people. Like, I just feel horrible. But anyway, thankfully, right when I got up to him, he just jettisoned this woman's purse and briefcase. He just, like, chucked it.
Sure.
And as soon as he chucked it, I was like, all right, see ya.
Yeah.
I'm not going to hang on to your ponytail.
Yeah.
And that was that. And I'm glad I avoided that. But as soon as that bitch started screaming, I would have just, I would have let her. I would have got my purse back and let her go.
And just let her go, yeah. See, that's the thing about big cities, where like I grew up small town, northern Minnesota, a little place called Hibbing, and we were kind of up on a rooftop having a party, and kids below us took a brick and threw it through the back windshield of a vehicle that was outside of a bar, and we're like, let's get them! So we take off running, we go down the street, now we're chasing after these kids, and then we caught up to them, we're like, oh shit, we know you guys, never mind, you're good,
Right.
yeah, that's fine. What do you guys get? They're like, yeah, we got a purse, like $30. We're like, good for you. Anyways, we're having a party if you guys want to come back and hang.
Yeah, I'm sort of jealous of the women or the men or the whoever who can get. First off, if somebody steals shit from me, I don't take it personally. I just feel like they're thieves and they want money. You know what I mean?
Sure.
So they're people, like when you do stuff to them, they take it personally.
Yeah.
Would they like internalize, or maybe they're narcissists? I don't know, but they get really animated about it. But I never would, because they're not stealing stuff from me. They're stealing stuff from a victim who happens to be me. But it's the same with like driving on the freeway and getting cut off. Like that person's not cutting you off. That person's cutting a car off that you're in.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
All right, moving on. Here we go. So Delta agrees to pay $79 million in a settlement to South Los Angeles residents after its pilots dumped jet fuel on neighborhoods more than 5 years ago. In January 2020, pilots of a Boeing 777 turned their Shanghai-bound flight back towards LAX after experiencing engine trouble shortly after it took off. However, pilots were forced to dump their fuel reserves since the jet exceeded its max landing weight of about 160,000 pounds. The liquid rained over thousands of cars, homes, businesses, and schools. They have agreed to not only pay the $79 million in the settlement, but also have everybody's properties tested, and then upon that, be given a certificate confirming that their property is clear.
So they figured they're fueled up because they're going to Shanghai from LAX, right? So they got thousands of pounds of fuel, and then they're going to burn off thousands of pounds on the way to Shanghai. But when they turn around and land, they're too heavy. So they got to dump that fuel. Now, I don't know where they were, but LAX just takes off right over the ocean.
Yeah.
Like, it seems like you would think, let's just dump it over the ocean versus over people's homes.
Yeah.
On the other hand, you know, if it's an emergency and you got to turn and you just don't have time to go out over the ocean, then you got to dump where you got to dump. My feeling is you want to live in the flight path. You get a little break on your home.
Absolutely, yes.
But shit happens every once in a while.
Yeah. Also, this does feel like, because, you know, you start hearing like some of the clients and the victims and the lawyers that are involved with this. And even though I'm not a big fan of big corporations, and I do like Delta, probably my favorite airline to fly, it does feel like this is an opportunity for people to make some dough. And this is exactly what they're going to do. If it was something like jet fuel on my property, I might just say, listen, just come and clean it up. Make sure it's fine. I just don't want any residual things happening to my pets or to my kids. But other than that, just clean it up and let's just bygones are bygones.
Yeah, you got a pressure washer?
Yeah.
Hit the roof.
Yeah.
We're cool.
Throw in the earbuds.
Yeah. The thing about this is everyone's going to do the, you know, my child has asthma and it flared up and blah, blah, blah. Deep pockets and all that.
Yeah.
All that stuff. But I don't know. Like, I feel with air travel, I feel like we don't appreciate it enough, and we don't understand it enough, and we don't really understand how glorious it is.
It's amazing.
And what a gift it is.
Absolutely.
And how I was trying to work out this bit, but I'm trying to work this bit out where when you get your real ID, you know, that's all we have to have your information on it. And I don't know what else, retinal scans or whatever they're doing. But I'm like, they need to put a little picture of the Donner Party on that. And like when you're at the airport and you're fucking throwing a pissy fit because your flight to Phoenix is delayed 40 minutes, you need to look down at the Donner Party and go, these people walked here and died in a snow-covered pass and had to get into cannibalism. They had to eat. They ate the animals first.
Yeah.
Then they ate the guides second because they were Indian, and then they ate themselves. Right. And you're bitching because you can't get to Phoenix by 1:30.
Yeah.
And I just feel like people are like way too. Here's the thing about flight. Here's what I'm going to say about flight. You do not have a God-given right to fly. Nobody deserves to fly. This is a privilege, people. You don't need. Nobody in human history was able to get from LA to New York in 5.5 hours. Nobody until the last 10 minutes of our society. People died, spent many, many months, got lost at sea. You know, God knows, the Kraken got them, Indians got them. You know, I mean, this is the first time in world history that we've been able to do this, and you need to appreciate it a little more. And you also kind of need to go, wow, we're really pulling something off. We got 200 people. They're flying to Shanghai or wherever they're going. I mean, that's pretty good. And once in a while there's going to be delay, and once in a while there's going to be a mechanical thing, and there's going to be a shit happens kind of thing. But that should all come with the territory, and you should appreciate what you have.
Yeah. I had that conversation with my daughter on a flight. We were talking about, parties back in the day that had to take, wagons west, and as they were trying to figure out the lay of the land. And she was like, and I was like, then they had to kill their own food. And she wasn't impressed by any of it. And I said, by the way, they had no Wi-Fi. And she was like, get out, what? They walked all that way, no Wi-Fi? I was like, yeah, that didn't exist back then. They just had their thoughts and not even a path. They were the ones making the path that went all the way to the goddamn ocean.
I know. So I just feel like people need to...
Yeah.
Again, they feel like they deserve flight.
Sure.
Like you see the films of the chicks at the airport, and it's like, sorry, we closed the door a half hour before, and they're like, "Fuck, bitch!" and they pick up the computer and throw it at them and stuff. It's like, you don't. This isn't some sort of birthright.
Yeah.
This is a privilege. And you need to show up on time. And if you live in the path, once in a while, you get some Jet A dumped on you. All right, let's do one more.
Yeah. All right. So, everybody's favorite quarterback, Jay Cutler, will have to spend time behind bars as part of a plea deal with prosecutors over his 2024 arrest. The ex-NFL star pleaded guilty to 1-count misdemeanor DUI. Per the deal, prosecutors agreed to drop 3 other charges filed against Cutler. Back in 2024, Cutler was arrested in Franklin, Tennessee on charges of driving while intoxicated and gun possession while under the influence. The other charges included violation of implied consent law and failure to exercise due care, which was reported as a charge brought over refusal to submit a blood or alcohol test. Now, this is the part that always confuses me, because every time I see like a TikTok or a reel and somebody goes, you don't have to give a breathalyzer. When they ask, you don't have to give one. And then you hear about guys get charged for not giving one, or they get taken in and then they do the blood, or they end up giving it anyways. And then I'm like, okay, so which is it? Which am I allowed to tell the cop you don't have the right to come into my vehicle? Or I don't know. It feels like there's so much contradicting information.
These guys are the same guys that are like, you don't have to pay federal income tax.
See, these assholes.
Constitutionally, there's nothing in there. Yeah. Wesley Snipes saw your infomercial and did 7 years in federal prison because he didn't think he had to pay. Like, there is nothing in the Constitution that says, which is sort of like those Disney movies when Gus the mule would kick field goals.
Oh, sure.
And then the opposing coach would run out and start yelling, and then the ref would go, there's nothing in the rule book that says a donkey can't. True. Still implied that it's not legal.
Yeah, we need a human.
Right. So they will. Now, what I've learned from attorney Mark Garagos, who's in the back and going to come in here and talk Menendai in a moment, the tips are, if you just left the bar, like you just took a couple of shots and left the bar and get pulled over, take the breathalyzer because it hasn't fully entered your blood system. If you were watching the game, had some drinks, cut yourself off in the fourth quarter, left after the game and were driving home and got pulled over, take the blood because they got to bring you in and your blood alcohol levels going down as the time wears on.
You guys mind stopping by Subway real quick so I can get a foot-long sub? I'm just a little hungry, that's all.
Yeah, but also, listen, Cutler I like, but if you got a gun in your car and you keep it in your glove box and then you get pulled over for DUI, I don't think that should be drunk, intoxicated, and gun possession. It was in the car. Like, you also have you have a tire iron in your car too, which could be used as a weapon. And you're drunk, but the tire iron was always in the car. I mean, if you're waving the gun around while drunk, but if they find the gun in the car when you're drunk, the gun was in the car that morning when you weren't drunk. No problem.
Yeah, it was on his way to practice.
That's
he stopped by
right.
and picked up a 9mm.
Right. So I'm just saying, I don't know about the gun part. It is weird that there's actual time in jail, which normally you get like suspension of your license and
which
whatever.
Which he also got,
I also, if I was running for president, I would run on a unification platform, which is, look, age of consent all over the road in this country. blood alcohol level, legally intoxicated, all over the road, pardon the pun. Let's just call it 16 and 0.10. All right,
Yeah,
can we
right?
do that?
Yeah,
We can move on. That way, when I go to Hawaii and I'm talking to lady friends, I wouldn't have to do the math, or I've had a couple of drinks when I want to talk to my lady friends on the drive home.
Sure.
There's a lot of calculations going on. You just make it 0.1 or 1, what is it? 0.1. Wait a minute.
The 0.01.
0.01. You make it 0.01 and you make it 16. And by the way, I feel like that crew is the same group.
Yeah.
It's the same group of fellas
Sure.
who could really benefit from some
Oh,
unification
yeah,
here.
absolutely.
You know
yeah.
what I mean?
Yeah, no math involved. Plus, I don't know if you've seen Cutler on the field. He's not great at math. A lot of times he'd be out there and he'd be like, all right, guys, third down. And they're like, Jay, it's actually second. He's like, oh, shit.
And I could bargain with people. Like,
Yeah.
I could go like, all right, we can dip down to 15 if you can give me 0.015 or something like that. We'll go
Yeah.
up with the alcohol. We'll come down with the age. But either
Oh,
way,
yeah, like a scales of justice. Yeah.
in a way, yeah, a
there
lot
we go.
like that. So, and she wouldn't be blindfolded, but she'd have beer goggles on. Lady Justice would be wearing beer goggles, and
Yeah.
I could negotiate that.
Gypsy Couture shorts.
Yeah, let's just start at 16 and 0.01. All right.
Yeah.
All right, Mark Garrig's waiting out there. Lots of updates on the whole Menendez thing, which has been an interesting story. Rudy, I don't have your bio,
I
but
think Chuck came and brought it in. But,
Oh, he did?
Maybe. I think so, maybe. But if,
somebody snuck in here,
Yeah.
but I don't know where it went.
if not, don't worry about it. You can find me at Rudy_Povich on Instagram. You can go to my website, adamcarollasopener.com, because nobody remembers my goddamn name. And then also, I got a couple of shows. October 3rd, I'll be in Jenkins, Minnesota, doing Snarky Loon Brewing. And then you can catch me on Black Friday, November 28th, at Heavy Rotation Brewing in Minneapolis.
Yeah, I do have her.
Yeah.
Sorry.